Hello, SpeedGaming 3, and welcome to Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 5. It's the Invitational League, and we are down to, what, 2 races? We've got one going on SpeedGaming 4. We've got one in a few hours, but this is one of our last races of the regular season. We've got Team JKLOL versus Team Go. I'm Radical Sniper 99, or Jesse, and I'm joined today by my NDM. Hello.
Hey, Jesse, it sounds like you are ready for this thing to go. You played this yesterday, you and Kayston, and I was on the call with Leoria. And now we've kind of swapped things around a little bit. Leo has left the booth, you've joined the booth. I believe Team Go has also made a substitution. Scoople played yesterday, McMonkey will be playing today, Vortex played both of those games, and yeah, this, I believe, last game of the regular season for both of these teams, both sitting at 21 points, looks pretty nice.
No.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, I think goes at 15. Um, it goes at 15 points on the season. So unfortunately for them, not going to be moving on to the playoffs. But yeah, we are down to this is really a seeding race at this point.
JKLOL looking to make good on a potential playoff push, try to get. You hesitate to say an easier matchup when you start talking about Invitational League playoffs, but theoretically, by the determination of a higher seed, you would be talking about a team that had maybe scored about the same amount of points than you, rather than going up against one of the real big dogs of this tournament.
Yeah, that was the thing. What I can say is it's looking like this one comes down to a win for JKLOL here puts us likely playing against sorry, why am I drawing the blank? It looks like it would put them in or us into a race with or a matchup with To Infinity and Pagog, while a loss against Go likely has JKLOL facing OK Dudes in the first round of the playoffs.
Both strong teams. I'm not hearing a whole lot to recommend one over the other there, but you'd always like to go into the playoffs on a win rather than a loss, so plenty to play for here. And Team Go, a bunch of really good players in their own right, maybe have not had the season they wanted, would absolutely love to go out on a win. And it's springs all around, but they'd still like to go in and say, you know what, we took one of these 2 games, so we still got it.
Yeah, that's the hard part here is you're not, it's Randomizer, it's co-op. These are all things you enjoy playing. It's just super dangerous the whole way through. You know, we start with those boots and you think that's great. Boots are amazing. Boots are terrifying.
Boots are great, and then you're just dashing down your dash line, and there's a BMO sitting where a guard is supposed to be, and you just truck right into it. Things
And
like that never
clearly,
happen in Randomizer, right?
yeah, I mean, clearly today there's definitely a bit of a clowniness to it. Vortex picking up the single rupee at the library. I gotta think this is just for, kicks now.
Every little bit does help in the early going, although I don't know that going from 22 to 23 rupees changes all that much. We probably might want to mention a few of the items that were found. There is a bow in Link's house that both Kayston and Vortex got. You have to think sooner or later Leo and Monkey are going to be saving and quitting to the house, or maybe hula-handing if they decide they still need a little money after this village trip and picking that up.
Yeah. Now, what we can also say is Leo and Monkey found a bottle in the Lost Woods. Vortex finding that Samaria, as well as a lamp at the Uncle chest. Now, Kazdan continued on to Eastern Palace. We saw there is an Argus here at Eastern, so can't beat the boss, but there is the knowledge we will get hookshot today.
And speaking of finding bows, apparently there's also one in Blindsold Hideout, so silvers are going to be super free this seed.
Kazdan working through the dark room here. This is going to be pretty terrifying. There's a lot of enemies you cannot see.
Looks like at least a couple of them there are visible enemies, and making it right on through.
I mean, I would say the more dangerous enemies are the ones that are invisible, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lionels are invisible.
Lionels are invisible. It's all fun and games until you see that fireball spit out and you think, uh-oh, I know it's there somewhere.
Kaizen have a little bit of a worrying moment there, but luckily having that bow able to get by the mini Helma. Leo into Chicken Hut. This is not the worst I've ever seen for a Chicken Hut.
Yeah, she was able to trap the enemies that were going to chase her no matter what on the table in the middle of the room and then slink on in without taking any damage.
And we get our first sword for Kaizen out of the big chest of Eastern Palace.
It's a nice thing to have, pairs with those boots awfully nicely.
And apparently Kaizen got a glove?
He certainly seems to think so.
Well,
now,
he
we
certainly
also saw him
must.
try to open the big chest of Eastern Palace before he got the big key on his first trip around, so I was willing to wait for a second and make sure that he had that before we went ahead and said, yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, he and I definitely had some jokes yesterday talking about it, or even today we were talking a little bit about the some of the stuff that happened about trying to do things when we were not able to.
That feels like a danger of both the co-op side of things and the Randomizer side of things. Monkey finding some flippers here in Mini Moldorm Cave seems to have been about the best thing going.
Yeah, Kaizen's working back towards Dark Cross right now, trying to find the door.
Oh my, that is an interesting room to walk into with that fire bar in place of one of the bats.
Monkey, unfortunately, taking a death, but does have that fairy, so not terrible. Just, oh, it was a bomb slug. Ew, those are rough.
And does not have that sword yet, so again, one of those things, you have the boots, but it's Randomizer and you're dashing around, and all of a sudden you run into an enemy that's going to do you, what is it, 3 or 4 hearts of damage those bomb slugs do on green mail?
Yeah, one of the more, or the lesser-known dangerous enemies, really. People don't realize how bad those are, like floating skulls, bomb slugs. They are dangerous enemies, you just don't realize how much they really hit for.
Well, in the vanilla game, you're thinking, well, you don't even see those bomb slugs until you get to Misery Mire, really, and unless you're really trying to speedrun the game, you've probably got the blue mail out of Ice Palace at that point. You're sitting up around, what, 11, 12 hearts, something along those lines. They're not
Exactly.
that dangerous, right? But no, this is Randomization. There's just one hanging out on South Shore. We're at 3 or 4 hearts, green mail. Yeah, green or
Oh,
blue.
the
Looks like we've
lag
got some blue.
in desert. The game is chugging trying to get into there.
The video game was not programmed for the nonsense that we've decided to throw at it in the 30 years since.
Nothing at Agina. Those are some of the first errors for Leo. I'm sure she's happy to have at least some offensive capability now. We did also see half magic there on the desert ledge.
It's a really convenient safety once you gain access to it, particularly if you get something like the Cane of Burna or the Magic Cape, because sometimes just being able to ignore the fact that there's a bunch of hot garbage enemies in your way is the best possible outcome for you in Randomizer.
Also see nothing on Lake Hylia Island. At this point, you know, we're really starting to clean up all of the checks. It looks like Monkey's going to be hitting the front of Escape. We know it's fully on Logic. Vortex getting the news that, yeah, Eastern is not clearable, and Monkey's getting bullied by this Dead Rock. And it looks like Leo's coming in, and Vortex having the same issue with remembering about big keys. So first runners into Eastern.
Was there an earlier big key yesterday? Because we're seeing that from both of the runners who played yesterday for these teams.
If I remember correctly, and I could be off, I think our big key for Eastern yesterday for Game 1 was in Cannonball. So entirely possible. And Leo's going to skip that sword. She is just going for the glove right now.
That's an interesting choice, really. Now, I suppose it kind of depends on what comes out of this palace play, this front of Hyrule Castle play that McMonkey is making right now, because we don't have a whole lot of other options left.
Well, and I think the scary part here is if there's a second sword here in the escape, technically that's Aga. Even a cape gives us Aga now. So, like, we know that that sword that Kazan got is in logic.
Yep, all he really needed was the lamp, and we found the lamp since then.
Although we'd also have access to Zora, so...
And of all of the runners, it looks like Kazdan's the only one with the money to pay for it, at least at the moment.
And I did not see anything out of Monkey's play into the front of Escape, so Kazdan's going to clean it up as well, but... And yeah, that Bomb Slug is just taking names today. Adding Leoria to his list of kills.
That chain chomp on the way to Boomerang Chest is not the most kindly placed thing in the world, but it seems like everybody's managed to avoid it so far.
I'll say Vortex going in for the 50 rupee cave right now. He is very far from Zora. I can't
He
imagine
still have
this.
that 3 hundo on the table somewhere, so it's not as though he needs to farm all that much.
And he's not going for all of it. Leo also going to be short here. We'll see how much the flippers can pay off. She's hoping, I think, for a 300 here. To get her to not have to double dip this play. And we have the magic powder.
Kazdan was going to attempt a death warp there with bombs, is now down to 2 bombs, has recognized the fact that it only works so well on blue mail.
Yeah,
and is going
luckily...
to let that snake do half a heart of damage until he falls over.
Yeah, luckily the snake damage is always half a heart, even on blue mail, I believe, so...
So they have that same guard property where they always do half a heart?
I think until at least you get to red mail, but I could be wrong. So Leo's finishing up the flipper checks. She's giving us our new info. Oh, Vortex got... There was that other 300 from Kazdan was in the back of Escape.
Ah, yep, okay. That would do it. Oh my, we've got, what, 2 Lionels in the dark, and God only knows the 3 Lionels in the dark.
3 of them. 4?
Those silver arrows coming in absolutely clutch for Kazdan, and that was some amazing dodge work. Fires off another silver arrow just in case there was another Lionel there, and it turned out to be a yellow spike instead. That was a pretty good change-up game.
INDM, I think we need Zora money.
It does kind of look that way, doesn't it?
It does, because I think we're running short, and I think that's the only check we haven't... Oh, wait, we haven't climbed the mountain. So we've got Old Man and inside of Spec Rock as the other 2 checks.
And the Old Man rescue in Randomizer can be absolutely terrifying. At least if you have the lamp, it's not quite so bad.
But Leo also looking at this going, I think I need money.
Monkey and that Gibo and the little bouncy skull thing were having a little party there by the door into the small key room here in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, this is one of the things, we talked about yesterday between game one. You know, the enemy placements for, oh my gosh, those rollers. The first game between the two teams was pretty rough as well, so Leo able to get that map there. Or, sorry, Leo getting the, lamp. Did I say map?
You did say
Words?
map. It has those letters in it.
We're just getting rid of the L? I don't know.
Yeah, she got L map. Map is an L word, right? L map.
Monkey getting his sword. Leo is actually going to head up the mountain. Let Kazan take care of the last the Zora check. So here's some new info from JKLOL, and it looks like Monkey's not going to be far behind.
Monkey seems to be thinking twice about this one. I'm not sure where he's deciding to go instead just yet, but starting back at the house again.
Is he going for the pearl? He's our only runner without it right now.
Didn't seem like a terribly dangerous old man rescue, but the reward wasn't particularly worth anything.
Kazan is getting the arrows. I gotta appreciate the fact that he was aware of the arrow up little pickup there. Okay, so it's either Zora or the inside of Spec Rock. Who is correct? Leo is not, so it is Zora. Ooh, what is it? Hammer, hookshot, or sword, or cape? Take your pick.
That could be mirror to get up into Tower of Hera as well,
I guess book is also a possibility now that I think about it.
We'll find
We've
out.
got some
Vortex
outs.
And Kazan will show us it is the hook.
Wow, okay, so going right back up the mountain.
And at least on Kazdan's side, he'll know that he does not have to go up and check the Spectacle Rock side of things. Vortex may or may not go up and check that first.
I gotta think he will, but I think Monkey will be able to get that info out first. Leo's gonna have to be careful here, down to half a heart, and she did use her fairy earlier. Oh.
Sniper Rock to Rock wins again.
Yeah, real unfortunate there. Now, I could see Leo actually going back to Eastern after this. Leo did not get her big key. I think we've seen Map and Compass. And at this point, Hookshot puts that in logic.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that she had decided to bail earlier when that sword was known, but yeah, having the hookshot all of a sudden becomes a clearable crystal dungeon.
And here's the other thing I'll mention. Monkey, a little short on Zora money right now, having to also make a play to back of escape. And Leo's like, not again. Not again, Octorok. I'm not playing this game. I said we're not playing this game.
I'm just not sure why she didn't try to swim around it.
Octoroks are not her friend today. Oh my gosh.
They really are not.
She's like taking a very defensive position there. So let's see how Leo plays this. She is starting at the house. She's making the Eastern play. I think this is a really smart move, honestly. One, you're getting the sword, and, let's figure out the info. Let's start making a move. And there's the last medallion, Quake.
The last medallion on the other side of this room was the mitts. Vortex has them. And now Kazan has them as well.
Yeah, so that's Dark World.
Pretty convenient. You have to go to Zora to get your hook shot, but then you come up here, you get your mitts, you clean out most of Light Mountain. Tower of Hera is going to be kind of hanging out over there on the other side. Can't really do a whole lot about it right at the moment, but then you get to clean up the Dark World side as well, find out what your Turtle Rock information is. Find out, we'll get a Dark World map check here too in the near future, I would expect. Cased in there, stunning that Buzz Blob out of the way, and then deciding, you know what, I'm going to check the stun prize while we're at it. Single hearts, that's not a bad stun prize under normal circumstances, maybe even a little better in Randomizer.
Yeah, that's definitely nice info to have. And I'm sure, Leo will appreciate that info as well. It's one of those things you really want to make sure you're telling your teammate. And I just realized, Kaysen was, I thought, a little bit behind Vortex out of Para 5, but the first of our runners onto DDM.
Yeah, I did miss why there. Did Vortex maybe drop the hover across that little gap there and have to make a loop back around? That would be my initial guess, since he definitely hovered it yesterday.
Yeah. Super Bunny not giving us anything. Leo is working through Eastern still. As I said, I think there is an item still on Argus. We're getting word apparently from Recidador that it was a bomb jump failure. Which, yeah, that's not ever easy, so... Randomizer can really screw up these things.
All the lovely Ancilla that you've come to know and trust when all of the enemies are what they're supposed to be, not always the case once the enimization takes place.
I was gonna say, Kaizen was, I think, almost gonna check a medallion, and then he realized, wait, I don't have to check medallion, I've got everything. And Leo's trying to find her enemy here. And she's like...
I think it's that blue Bari up at the top of the screen under her rupee count.
Yeah, I missed the starting positions. Yep, there we go.
And there was another sword in Hookshot Cave, apparently.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I thought the color of that sword's a little different.
I only really noticed because I saw a monkey catch it. Speaking of catching things, the bug catching net also in the second chest there of Hookshot Cave. So, Hookshot Cave with a very convenient swingy item, and then another little safety. We've got a couple of bottles.
I was going to say, Leo, probably thinking Bombos. Yep.
Bombos, one of those wonderful safeties in Randomizer where you can tell most enemies to just go away at the cost of about 5 seconds. That was unfortunate. Leo did get the double hook there, but as she was moving to get the second hook, she poked the first puff and lost her sword charge.
Yeah, this is not an easy fight on Fighter Sword.
The hookshot invincibility frames coming in clutch there. She was definitely in position to take a hit from that puff spin. With no mirror to worry about accidentally tactical mirroring, I would have been really tempted to do the quick swap hookshot and silver arrows strats on some of these buffs, because we've seen quite a few times now where Leo has been in a position where she wants to do the spin, and either she's missed one puff or she's dropped the sword charge by poking a puff. It's not the easiest fight in the world with the fighter sword.
Yeah, but she does get the job done, and Vortex is following into Eastern, so not leaving this behind was just money. I'm sure she's going to be like, the money's good to find on her side. But yeah, nice kill. First dungeon down for Team JKLOL. Vortex not far behind.
Vortex going to have a little easier time of that fight with the sword upgrade. You only need to land the one spin to make sure that the puffs fall apart.
By the way, that enemy with the small key was the red Tektite.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, that's a bit more of a pain in the butt than the berry. Whew.
Yeah, I thought that it was the Bari and that it had just kind of floated up left a little bit and gotten away, and she was having trouble with everything else trying to home in on her, but nope. And Kaysen has a third sword here, I believe.
I think it was Front of Thieves.
Yeah, there's Argus here, so there's always a sword in the dungeon where Argus resides, question mark?
I mean, we had 2 dungeons with Argus, and both of them had a...
swords.
Yeah.
And being that we're using full ball shuffle, that should be the only 2 Argai that we see, provided that there were not placement issues further down the line.
I'll say it's quite funny, you know, game 1 between these 2 teams had a butter sword available in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, 10-minute butter sword, 20-minute bottle percent. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Looks like Leo is cleaning up her mountain checks now, likely has the things that are going to come out of the light mountain now, just has to go pick up that sword, and probably going to pick up the bug net as well, I would expect.
All the Argai.
That's actually the name of the puff, so it's a little difficult to try to put the name of the big Argus together, and then we have multiple of them, so you want to say Argai, but Argai is actually the name of the puffs, and yeah, well...
I mean, there were a lot of Argai. That was still true. I don't know how many, but we saw the genocide of the Argai. Leo getting some extra magic refill here. We also saw there was a hammer.
Oh, is there? Where did that come out from? Because Kasten was not... Did he?
Kasten's got it too.
Missed it? Yeah, okay, yeah, I see it on his...
Brewery.
I see it on his menu there. It's just in the brewery. Fair enough. Oh no, it's in the chest game. Vortex got it.
Okay.
Watching 4 screens is easy. Anyone can do it. This is why we were glad when Avalon showed up to help Slowpoke track, because trying to track all 4 of these in one go... You can see how much trouble Jesse and I are having just trying to pay attention to this and talk about it. Think about having to then actually look at the tracking page and click all of the correct things to make sure that it shows up for you out there in Chatland.
Yeah. So Leo's given a lot of time for Kaysen to kind of just search out Dark World at this point. Oh, and we missed some of the map check. Apparently, it looks like we've got Pendant Pod again and Pendant Mire.
I have to expect that, given the outcome not only of last game, but then Vortex's comments in the post-race, having Pendant Pod a second time and having Bow, Lamp, Hammer, I feel like we're likely to see them wind up in that dungeon sooner rather than later. Well, one of the 2 players on Go's side. Because we do have Crystal Swamp, so we're going to need to find the mirror. Maybe we don't have to find the flute, though, Mire being our other pendant dungeon to go along with Pod and Desert. But Fire Rod's still outstanding, so there are a couple of things that could be absolutely tucked away in that pendant pod.
Yeah, we're only, what, 2 items really realistically from go at this point? We're missing a fire rod and a mirror?
Yeah, barring one of them being behind the flute over in the mire area, yeah. And wasn't the fire rod in pod yesterday? Rando does this rhyming
Yes.
thing where for a week and a half, you'll see a lot of really similar item placements that I would have my suspicions.
Well, I'm just looking at what we have so far. Like, honestly, I'm surprised that Monkey didn't just go to ice here.
Yeah, ice would have made a lot of sense here. Now with that hammer, I guess you can get to Tower of Hera, although at this point you're probably hoping to find Fire Rod somewhere else and just pair up Turtle Rock, Tower of Hera right into the tower.
And Leo's actually not going to kill that second Argus right now.
I wonder why. A legitimate question. I'm not entirely certain why she's decided to dodge
I
that
thought
at the moment.
maybe we were going to get a Smith chain here and maybe like come back, but that's not what she's doing. And like, I would think in her position, like, how many items do we get in the front of Thieves? Is this her saying, I can wait and make a decision to possibly do the rest of the back? And she's going to pod. Let's be clear, this is pod.
Of course she is. Why would she not?
We did get the magic bat. It is nothing over on Vortex's side. We are getting Hobo from Kaysden, and it looks like Monkey's going to hit ice.
Yep, Monkey just had one or two other things on his mind first, now going to go ahead and make the ice play. Makes a lot of sense. You've got the bombos, you've got the flippers, the hammer, glove, cane to Samaria, hookshot even, so you know that the whole thing is in logic. Crystal Dungeon you need to beat eventually anyway. The science point to ice? Why not?
Yeah, and it looks like Kaysen's going to be joining Monkey here. I like the play in Ice Palace. The only real worry you have at this point is Ice Palace Trinex. I feel like that is one of those more common boss arrangements.
It is a room sized appropriately to fit a Trinex, so that is a thing that could be a case here. We haven't seen one yet.
And here comes the fun part of Randomizer. We saw a Wall Master. So be careful, people. I do like this call, though, from Vortex right now, heading into Tower of Hera. Clearable Crystal, and specifically, it is one of our 5/6s.
A 5/6 to go along with the Thieves Town that he's already cleared, so yeah, as long as it's a defeatable boss, which it should be, you can't put a Trinex at the top of Tower of Hera.
Well, and the interesting thing here for Vortex is I wouldn't be shocked if his play is, beat Hera, possibly do, well, we can't do Spike Cave, really. I don't think he's got anything in the bottles to do it. Although he did get that fairy
He
primed.
just bottled a fairy, and as he was skipping through his bottles, I believe he has another bottled fairy as well, so he should be in pretty good shape to sequence break Spike Cave if that's what he wants to do here.
But after that, like, I could see him going for Pyramid Fairy into pod. If that's his thought. Like, there's a really good play here and routing order for him to do that.
Pod living up to its infamy here. We've seen 3 out of 3 small keys thus far.
Is that it? I think she's gotten more small keys than that, even.
Yeah, maybe she has, but she's got 3 right now, and she's on the bow-locked side, so... Also going to bottle up some fairies. Or at least 1 fairy.
Tried to get another, but unfortunately, they flew into her.
Helmasaur at the top of Tower of Hera, Vortex with some bombs, some hammer hits, and a silver arrow to seal the deal. Let's see, we have the map on the boss. I think we've seen the compass as well, so I know he spent the small key while he was setting up his hook speed Herabot, so second item in basement, question mark? As long as I was not misseeing items collected while he was moving through the dungeon.
Looks like he got everything. And he is not doing Spike Cave. I'm kind of surprised. I thought he was priming himself for it. And yeah, this really does look like Vortex going after Pyramid Fairy.
Kaysden making some good use of the powder there, had been down to a heart and a half.
Yeah, always one of the worries we've talked about this week with the co-op is just how do you deal with, you know, you're going to be playing low percent. So any benefits you can get are just that much more important. Oh my gosh, Monkey is just getting bullied all over the place down here.
Those Freezors are not to be trifled with. The red hard hat beetle, completely inconvenient. Then the anti-fairy floating around, and that counts for hits against your Samaria block, so that took it away from him. Yeah.
I don't even know if he was trying to use his bottle there, but accidentally or did intentionally use that. Pyramid Fairy not paying off though, only $40, so a small return or negative return there on your investment. Kazen just saying, you know what, I'm not playing this game. Goodbye to this room.
More trouble than it's worth. I'll spend the 5 seconds. Bombos does so many things.
And Leo into the Dark Maze, Vortex coming in. We'll see if this pays out at all. We're definitely having at least 2 runners clear pod.
Oh, surprise Wallmaster in the dark. That's always fun.
Yeah, and luckily, one of the things that can be really scary about this kind of play is, you know, knowing that it's gonna... I feel like Wallmasters just love to stack on each other, and it's very common in... try to do the Death Warp, and then realize Wallmaster, and then the Wallmaster got away. But we did get Cold Stare kills from both Monkey and Kaysden. And Leo is going for Helma.
Going to make the full play. It's very on brand for Leoria of Light, have no doubt about that. But it probably is a good time to note that Team Go has 5 crystals cleared to JKLOL's 3.
Yeah, Leo taking this extra time for Pendant Pod and also skipping out on killing the Argus in Thieves Town. You know, this could just be her saying, I can wait for the play. Like, I don't have to go do that. You know, I saw in chat the mention of, hey, maybe I'll just wait on Skull Woods, or I'll wait until I can do Skull with it.
Here's Vortex attempting the Palace of Darkness hover. He dropped this once yesterday and gave up on it, and has now dropped it twice today and forced to give up again. Now, Monkey is up onto the mountain, getting back into the Dark World. I think we're just getting a play straight into TR here, aren't we?
This could be. Azen gonna go with the turn-in of that mushroom. Don't know if we'd seen this one yet.
I think Monkey has turned this in. I think that's one of the things that he did before making the play over to Ice.
Okay.
Now it's Leo's turn to say this room is too much of a hassle. I'm just going to make everything burn. And she did check the map for the boss here at some point, but I did not catch it before the map closed. So we'll find out together. It is the Armos Knights.
Definitely a formality at this point with our silver arrows. And there's the fire rod. Oh, wow.
Okay, video game, we understand. You really like fire rods in Palace of Darkness right now. And I have to imagine that Vortex, after his comments after yesterday's race, is absolutely going the full 9 here. Will be going to the boss and finding that fire rod in fairly short order.
I'm surprised Kaizen's not doing Eastern here. Like, that was a pretty convenient time for him to go after that.
Until and unless you find the mirror, you can, I suppose, really do them in whatever order you want. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little surprised that he didn't decide to just go ahead and put that crystal on the board since he was going to be in the area anyway.
And this is Leo gonna go back now for Thieves.
Go back for Thieves and then swing up, pick off whatever is in Mothila's room.
And unfortunately, Vortex does have a fairy. Okay.
I think that's one of those bottled fairies from earlier, so Vortex still in fine shape there. Going to have to go back around, however.
Do you remember where the big key was, my DM?
Not right off the top of my head, no. I feel like it's always been in Harmless for me lately, so that's going to be my guess, but that's all it is. Oh my. Wallmaster, please.
Leo going for the poke dashes, and whew, man, this pod is not being friendly with Vortex. I can't imagine he's very happy right now. I know yesterday he was saying how much he was annoyed by some of these Randomizer patterns, and today has not been nicer. Let's just put it that way.
I thought it was interesting because sitting there at the 30,000 foot view yesterday, Leo and I thought, well, these Randomizer patterns aren't the most terrible thing we've seen. And then you all came on to the call afterwards and we were talking about it, and you all hated it. You and Kaizen and Vortex said, this was terrible. This was absolutely atrocious randomization. And I was sitting there thinking, didn't really
I think part of
like
it was that we
perspective.
had the sword so quickly that you think, like, we can dash, we can do whatever we really want here. And it just wasn't in the cards because everywhere you looked was a spike.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's something that maybe you don't pick up on so much when you're not actively pushing the buttons to make the character go. But yeah, dumb spike placements like that one that Vortex just went past on the falling bridge in Palace of Darkness are just, they're just silly. That really should not be a thing.
So Leo into Skull Woods, she's gonna finish this up, and I guess at that point, like, hello Turtle Rock?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else left. Now, if you're going to go up for Turtle Rock and you still don't have the mirror, I could certainly see the situation where Leo would clear out Tower of Hera first. And that bright green roller there is just not friendly. Kaisten's going to try and hookshot through, does manage it.
Smooth.
It can always be tricky. You think, well, I'm just going to hookshot, get some invincibility frames, and this roller's going to pass by, and then I'm going to keep moving. But when you start talking about Inimizer placements for these things, you're not always quite so sure where that roller is going to stop. Do you really have enough time for the hookshot to extend and come back before the roller comes right back into your face? It's a bit of a question, and it worked out that time.
I just realized we did get a book out of Pod. Had completely missed that, but Vanilla Big Key Chest was the book.
So we could be looking at a play into Green Pendant Desert for a mirror, theoretically.
And that might be why Kaysden skipped out. Knowing that the book was there, he might be thinking, Leo, you go do TR Hera, and I'll hit Desert. And then do Eastern with Green Pendant turn in. It would not shock me. But meanwhile, then we had a Moldorm there in Skull Woods, and Leo making quick work of that fight.
Oh, that was really smooth by Monkey. Did you catch that damage boost?
I did not.
He waited right there for the BMOS to shoot him through that spike roller.
Smooth.
I'm just going to assume that he did it intentionally because it sure looked intentional to me, and even if it wasn't, well, now he can take credit for it afterwards.
Vortex, though, getting his Fire Rod, I'm sure, very pleased to got another seed requiring Pendant Helma.
Not going to be tripped up by it for a second day, does find that Fire Rod. Monkey probably thinking, really, I'm going to have to go back there again.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. He bailed on Pod before getting his Fire Rod, I think. I can say that the MSU we're using with Leoria is the F-Zero collection. And I believe Kaysen's using the same one.
Kaysden does tend to use that for racing. That is a pretty common occurrence.
Yeah, yesterday was kind of Kays and I both on the Gametal kick, and now it's today. There was talk of using Gametal again, but then switched it up a little bit.
Looks like we've got a bit of a freeze there on Monkey's side, but I have to think that what this is a play to Tower of Hera.
That's what it looks like. I can say it looks like his stream might have gone down for a bit. Briefly. Looks like it's back up. So hopefully it corrects momentarily.
The vaunted technical difficulties.
Yep. So Tyler Salt in chat asking, hey, what are the playoff implications of this race? So technically, the playoff implications are very minor. Actually, JKLOL is sealed their or punched their ticket to playoffs. So really, what this is just seeding now. And there's the save and quit from Leo. She's got 3 crystals right now. Kaysen going for his 3rd. Monkey about to get his 4th out of Hera, and Vortex going for his 4th in Skull. So Crystal Edge currently in favor of Team Go.
If anything, JKLOL has closed that gap a little bit. It was 5-3 last time we commented on it. And it does look like Leo is back up the mountain here, very likely making the play to Tower of Hera first.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem here is the unfortunate fact Monkey's going to have to make a return trip to Palace of Darkness, getting that info just after saving and quitting. Now, the other thing we'll point out is Kaysen is not going to have to do the rest of Skull here. Leo full cleared Skull Woods. So she's, given Kaysen the okay to just say bail after this.
And we are going to get one of these book checks, kind of something that you can kid about a little bit, given that everything else is going on, but just 10 arrows there on either tablet.
And down goes Moldorm for Kaysden. So that's his fourth or third crystal. We are just looking for a mirror for go mode, folks.
This looks like a really dangerous way to try and set up this trick with that fire bar. Is this going to work? Is there enough time? There is. Wow.
I get 1.0.
Swipe and passing, yeah. You'll take the 1.0, but at least the thread is through at that point, and there are a couple of fairies there. It's not so bad.
Yeah, and Leo finally is starting to have at least a little bit more health.
Now, what is Kaysden's play here as he's heading back towards the village?
Is this Smith Chain? I can't say I'm a massive fan of the play. I would prefer probably doing Desert here.
It might be thinking pick this up, pick up Purple Chest, since it's kind of on the way to Desert anyway with no flute.
Yeah, that's potential. Leo going for bomb strats here on Helmasaur. She is out of bombs though now, and gonna have to go with the hammer strats now at this point.
This is neither of the platforms in either of the towers are nice places to fight this boss.
No.
For different reasons, really. Here, when Helmasaur King gets over that central hole, he cheats and does not take hits to the mask, so it kind of takes forever, and then you're trying to come in from the side like Leoria was, and you wind up walking into the leg and taking damage. Thankfully, that fairy is going to go ahead and scrape her back up at least one time. And in the Moldorm 2 arena, then you have the problem where Helmasaur King is right on top of you at all times, and it's really easy to knock yourself into the pit, or have Helma knock you into the pit, or have Helma's fireballs knock you into the pit. It's just not the greatest place to have that fight.
Leo was trying to deal with this. It's just Helma's not playing nice here at all. There we go. Mask is now off. 1 silver, and I'm sure she's like, thank you. I am done with this fight.
Fight is over. I'll find a new fairy somewhere.
And it looks like Kaysden's joining on the mountain at this point. He's not gonna run. We thought about maybe seeing a purple chest to Desert, and he's just saying, nope, TR is the play.
Yeah, I wondered about that, because it really does seem like you're in a position where just that mirror from Go, you might want to try and start wrapping up some of these crystals, particularly if that mirror is just hanging out in TR.
This looks like Leo heading for Pyramid Fairy. So there's the swap.
And then I suppose the question becomes, what does Leo want to do next? As Monkey's getting scraped up by a fairy here, has a chain chomp problem in the middle of pod, needed to flip that switch to go over and beat the boss.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I'm imagining what to say to the runners after this race, and I'm just gonna say I feel sorry for all of you for having to deal with this trash fire right now, because these are 4 really talented runners and are just showing what Randomizer can do.
Yeah, much more so than the game yesterday. Even from the commentary booth, this looks like an absolute travesty of minimization. And while we were talking about Kasten and Leo swapping spots with Mountain Play versus other things, Vortex is in Turtle Rock as well and has already checked the fire rod locked side that Kasten's heading to right now. Looks like we're just seeing some keys over there and then dungeon item on the left. So if the answer is here, Vortex likely to land on it just a little bit sooner than Kasten does, but not by a whole lot.
I mean, the bigger issue here is the crystal advantage that, you know, if you look at how the runners are stacking up, 4 crystals for Monkey to Leo's 4 crystals, so even there. But we're talking Skull versus Ice. But Vortex has a 4 crystal to 3 crystal lead on Kasten right now, and like this is the kind of play you need, is Leo getting something out of here Desert. Because Kasten following in Vortex's footsteps only leaves him just still behind. The one benefit he has is that Vortex has to do ice. So
yeah, and normally you would think this is one of those situations where maybe Kasten is not going to close ground here. Vortex with something like a 3-minute lead in NMG time, but once you start talking about Randomizer, you can just throw all that right out the window. God only knows what's going to be on that little narrow bridge on your way to Laser Bridge. Who knows what silly things are going to be hiding in the dark maze. Yeah, anything can happen. That's one of the beauties and the absolute dumpster fires that is Randomizer in Link to the Past Rando.
there's one of our items out of Desert Palace. So that does mean our big key will be on the torch. And I think either way, like, unless you get Mirror out of Big Chest, you're gonna still kill Landmolas for Green Pendant.
Yeah, it seems difficult to justify leaving unless you find your Go Mode item at this point.
I think even if we get the Mirror here, I would not be shocked to see Leo pick up half magic on the ledge. I know my teammate, and I know that's one of her favorite items. And there's a Viddy.
Alright, Viddy, not really a problem. The arrow count is a full 30 at the moment. Leo picking up that NMG arrow stack just in case, but she was already at 30.
But here we go, Laser Bridge gives us the flute. Oh no.
Okay, game. I'm hearing what you're saying.
I don't like it, but I hear it.
Monkey working on to the back of Skullwoods here, going to encounter the boss in just a quick little drop down. Leo, as expected, heading towards the Vitreous in the back of Desert Palace, and I don't know if we saw a map check from either of these runners. I missed it. Vortex. Oh, it's a vanilla Trinex, wouldn't you know?
I mean, you don't hate seeing one. You want to start seeing them now.
Yeah, get those out of the way.
We do not want Ice Trinex, or at least they don't. Chat does.
You don't want it, especially when you don't have either of the safety invincibility items yet.
Well, and how many fairies have we already sacrificed to the rando gods today? And a shovel on Trinex.
A shovel on Trinex, because, well, why would we have an actual answer? It is another crystal that Vortex gets to put on the board that Kasten is going to be putting on the board here very shortly, one would expect.
There's the mirror off of Landmo.
Oh my.
That is go mode for Team JKLOL.
It looks like Monkey may be heading that direction, though.
It does.
So Leoria getting that information a little ahead, Monkey very likely to full clear front of desert here before rushing to the boss in the green pendant. But it's not as though Vortex and Monkey are going to be without that knowledge for that much longer, and Vortex still has ice that he needs to clear, so it's not entirely unreasonable for him to go knock that out, since I don't think that Team Go has a whole lot else left on the table. Maybe this will be Mirrorless Smiths. That would be a little unfortunate. Or, oh no, he's going to activate the flute and he's going to go to Meyer. Never mind. Or I guess he could activate the flute and just go to ice and clean up ice really quick. That would be better if you're a partisan of Team Go. That's really what you would like to see.
And very aggressive play here from Monkey. It looks like he's rushing the boss. But he's not going to have an item here. The big chest was not an item. Our first item was right side, and our second item being on the boss.
Looks like we're going to get a ped check here from Vortex. I believe one of JKLOL made this earlier.
He hasn't taken his flute to go right for desert or after this, which is good for him because, like we said, the fact that he skipped Eastern earlier, was kind of a little bit of a surprise move. But we've got a race here. Let's be real. This is quite the race. Leo can go straight from here into Ice Palace for her 5th and 6th crystals, and then climbs for TR for her 7th. Monkey in kind of a similar situation. He's just got Swamp after this, and then TR. Honestly, by the time Monkey gets done with Desert and gets his mirror, Leo should be right about done Swamp. They're almost evened up. This is really close.
Yeah, I guess the question is going to be, Vortex is going to go spend some time in Mire here that is unlikely to pay out in anything unless one of those invincibility items, one of those big conveniences for Randomizer happens to show up here before Monkey pulls the mirror.
Yeah, the unfortunate part here is that the progress that Vortex is making is not valuable progress. Like, he'll get the info very shortly that this is not required, but it's the time he's spending in Mire that you feel bad. And yes, as JP is pointing out, this doesn't change who's in the playoffs, but seeding for a lot of teams really depends on the result of this race. And there's our second Armos.
That's our second doubled boss, I believe.
Yep. And it looks like we do have a little bit of an extra, yeah, we have a bit of an extra desync right now from Monkey's stream. So Vortex getting his info that, hey, Desert's your answer.
And Leoria done with Swamp Palace is...
this is a potion pickup.
This is a potion play, yep.
Yep.
I can respect that. You're hoping to do ice and then just go right on up the mountain, do all of the things, and this is probably your last chance, particularly since Leo not in the position to have gained and activated that flute that was sitting over in Turtle Rock. If you want potions, that really was the time to do it.
Kazan now at 4 crystals on his side. I think Monkey's going to be first into GT at this rate. Just my estimation.
Yeah, I don't know what's really going to be faster here. Monkey already does have Swamp Drained, but there's not an animation that Leo really has to go through here aside from getting into the Dark World. It's kind of tough to say. They're both going to have to do Turtle Rock.
And Kazan only a little bit behind Monkey right now in Swamp Palace. Only regrettable thing is he still has Eastern as well. But he's got Eastern and Hera, which are definitely two very quick dungeons.
And Vortex is going to have Go Mode, Swamp, and Ice, so yeah, it's kind of tough to say. There may be a slight edge here to JKLOL, but if there is, it's by a matter of rooms, really.
Yeah, this is going to come down to GT, and not just GT routing, but how bad is GT? Like, the rest of the seed has been kind of brutal.
That may mean that the climb will be a bit of a break, but it could just be a brutal seed from the Randomizer all the way down. We'll have to wait and find out here, as everybody else has just a couple of dungeons left to clear.
And I do see the discussion going on about, what are our runners playing on? Yes, all 4 of them are on Super NTs. Can say that with certainty about this group. Nice use of hookshot to get through that stair on Leo's side. Kazan just a couple of rooms behind Monkey still. Vortex entering Swamp now.
I guess the real question on Kazan versus Monkey is going to be, Monkey's going to have the slog through Turtle Rock with all of the tubes that you have to just wait for, while Kazan's going to have to run through Eastern Palace. That Tower of Hair is a bit of a non-entity in the grand scheme of things. You'll be right on top of, you can carry your Dark World access with you and be right on top of GT at that point.
Leo's got a bottle at the ready right now. Yeah, and she's down to 1 heart, so she's like, nope, not chancing it.
Not worth the time and trouble of coming back. It is not... You'd think it's not that long of a dungeon, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not, but running all the way back to the boss room is more time-consuming than you want to spend in a race setting.
And here we go. So yeah, Monkey is going to be first into TR out of the top 2 runners for their last crystals. Meanwhile, Kazan in for his 6th crystal at Eastern. Vortex is in the back of Swamp, but has ice left. I think if I say Monkey's in first, I think Leo and Kazan are 2nd and 3rd right now, just in terms of order into GT. I think Vortex is just a little bit behind.
It just has slightly longer dungeons left than Kazan, and While Leo's dungeon is, like Monkey's, the longest of those remaining, does have the advantage at that point of being up on the mountain in the Dark World already.
Yeah, and I mean, Kaizen's last is going to be Hera, and besides the fact that it's a pretty rude Helmasaur, like, he's in decent shape here.
And it's a thing that he already knows is there. Leo's cleared the dungeon. It's not as though it's going to come as a surprise to him. It's just not really the most convenient boss you can find up there.
Okay, that is crystal number 6 for Vortex. Kaizen coming in on his Argus refight for his crystal number 6.
Having some archery problems here with this Argus running around, eventually says, yeah, 2 spins is going to be better than continuing to throw arrows at this thing. I'm not sure what exactly that was from Leoria. The mirror out of the fire rod locked side and then just ducking back out of the dungeon for a second.
Yeah, I think just a little mix-up. One of the things that can be really hard to do is, know exactly what your route is. Even getting it from your teammate, there's just that little bit of uncertainty.
Kaizen suddenly up on the mountain here.
Will Kaizen actually get into GT first?
I was beginning to wonder exactly that, because yes, he's going to have to go all the way over there, and then he's going to have to mirror and do Hera, but as long as he doesn't have any trouble getting the Hera pot, that's still really only about a minute-ish. Plus or minus however long Helmasaur King wants to be a complete jerk and hide over the hole on the middle of the platform.
Yeah.
I guess the real question then becomes, if Kaizen goes for the bomb usage strats there, what does the bomb situation look like? Sitting there going into GT, you don't need a ton of them, but depending on where that big key is, you may not need 0. I'm so used to seeing a spike in the place that Wizrobe was for Monkey.
And wow, nice work there with the Hera pot from Kaizen as well, getting past that fire spar.
It timed out really well for him. He had the invincibility from the bomb blasting him into the Aeropot position, and then he just kind of waited for the fire bar to swing on by before the hook shot and the tap left and up to get into the Aeropot situation.
I'm playing a little bit nicer for Kaizen than it did for Leo. Kaizen, pull out your silvers, please. Buddy.
Kaizen doesn't want to use his silver, so he has a tempered sword, and, well, it's good enough. We have Trinex exploding for McMonkey, going to get his 7th crystal. We have Helmasaur King exploding for Kaizen, going to get his 7th crystal. Kaizen's going to have to get back into the Dark World, and he has a couple of seconds that he's going to give away here. McMonkey's fight was over just a little sooner, but I think Kaizen is, by just a hair, going to be the first of our runners into Ganon's Tower. Well, Vortex is falling into his 7th crystal boss with this blind fight in the basement of Ice Palace.
Nice phase 1 there for Leo on the Trinex fight. Yeah, Kaizen's gonna be a little bit ahead into this. Whose items do we count here?
Kaisten's by virtue of we saw him go in first, even though Monkey is technically about 12 seconds behind on what we're seeing, so he's likely ahead in the tower, in fact.
So we got 1 from Kaizen. There's 2. 3 is another small key. 4 and 5, nope.
This seems to be a generally agreed upon kind of strat. Go for the Dark Magician if you're the first one in with enough time to give, and we do have a big key in Hope Room, so big key, then go left, grab a small key, and up you go.
Yep.
All of a sudden, we've got a race. There's no worries of finding a second Trinex on ice. The worst that could happen is we would find that in the Landmola's 2 arena, but that's not the worst place to have that fight. It's laggy, certainly, but not the worst.
And the Hinox is trying to play with the switches here and not exactly being nice.
Leo's going to take both the torch key and... okay, that's interesting. Who knows what the Mini Helma key holder replacement is going to be up at the top of this tower, but even though she had walked all the way into the room, she then decided, you know what, I'll take my chances. Be interesting to see how that plays out later. And Vortex is going to come join the party in the tower. Here we go, all 4 runners in GT. Everybody but Vortex on the climb, and Vortex will be on the climb here in about 10 seconds.
And the scary part here is, you know, Vortex is pretty much the strongest of these 4 runners in terms of NMG times, and so don't count him out here.
Is certainly a situation where we could see some of that experience come into play. Oh, we're going to see that rare middle door opening. Vortex decided to take both the torch key and the pot key so that he could go through middle door and save a couple of screen transitions.
Monkey a little bit ahead of Kaizen right now, a room ahead in the gauntlet. Leo currently in G1. And Vortex entering Mimics 2. We have our first Moth there at Landmo 2.
A convenient boss to be there, so now your only real concerns are whatever's hiding out up on Moldworm 2's platform. Again, based on the rules of minimization, it cannot be a Trinex, but there are some other things that can be up there that are not the kindest, gentlest bosses in the world. Kasten going to get out the red cane for what's normally a Wizro broom, but that's not really a Wizro broom. Oh, he's going to burn that bar. He may save a little time.
Yeah.
Monkey did have some shenanigans there with the hookshot, trying to get that Bari taken care of.
Yeah, definitely helps save some time on that Bari kill. And yeah, I'm...
Oh, Monkey quaking in Torches 1. Has enough time to get through it, though. but that's just a little more time that Kayston was allowed to claw back there, Monkey handing a little of his advantage away.
Vortex still a little bit behind Leo here. Really close here. All runners on the climb right now. And there's that cold stare.
There's that troublemaker, and it's not really the cold stare puffs that are so much of the problem here, it's that you have a lot less leeway in dodging those falling icicles while doing the damage you need to do. Kayson's going to attempt the hover instead and nails it.
Wow, very nice.
Knows that he has to bomb boost that shell off because otherwise shenanigans happen. I'm not sure why, because, well, my hovers are so incredibly inconsistent that I've never landed a hover with cold stare up here. But Kaysden knows better. Leo heading into the penultimate chest room here while Vortex working on Torches 1 and decides to take a trip into the pit. And another trip into the pit. That's going to necessitate a reset of the room. Those torches were going to go out before he got down to the bottom and got that last one lit and got through the door.
Leo is going to go for the cold kill here.
I'm not surprised, even being on hardware, her hover may be a little less consistent than Kayston's is, just going to go ahead and take care of the boss. Kayston and Monkey through Agate 2. Kayston going to be the first dropping into Ganon by, well, Monkey will technically be, again, Monkey is a little desynchronized in time from the rest of our runners, but still, it's a matter of seconds here.
And it looks like Kazan did not get the double spin there, so he's not going to get that one cycle. Then there's the double spin for Monkey, so...
It's a free phase 2, pretty much for both runners, though. That's a convenient phase 2 bottom placement for Monkey. You can get in and get that double spin there in the midst of the dash pokes, make sure that you get the phase done. But that makes it a little bit of time that Kaysden gave back.
And Leo is into her Ganon fight as well. Vortex falling on Moldorm 2 here.
That is an unfortunate time and a place for a fall. Going to have to spend more magic now re-cracking the shell. As Leo drops in to visit Ganon as well.
And there is the Ganon kill for Kaysden. Keep in mind, there is actually a bit more of a desync here. Monkey's timer only at the hitting 122.20 now, while Kaysden's closer to 122.30. So Monkey probably actually our first finisher. Unfortunately, Leo taking a death on Ganon. But get your GGs in chat for McMonkey and Kaysden. McMonkey finishing first with a 122.28. Kaysden only 8 seconds behind with a 122.36.
Oh, and you can see a little of the nerves from Leoria now. We missed the trident spin there, and then trying to get slashes into the bottom of the screen, walked into the pig.
Yep.
And especially in a co-op situation, you're thinking, okay, my partner and one of my opponents just finished 8 seconds apart. Vortex, maybe the strongest runner of this quartet, has to be close. You know he has to be close. He's closing in. You can absolutely feel that runner breathing down your neck. Yep. In another state, in another part of the country, maybe in another part of the world, doesn't matter.
Oh no, and Leo getting just burned again. thought she had the bottle out in time, and unfortunately has another death, and Vortex is dropping in right on top of Ganon as well.
And this is the fight that you know Vortex has done thousands of times before. That way sub 90. What is it?
Yeah.
125x now, I think, is his NMG time. You know he's practiced this fight.
And really, Leo... Oh, and Leo taking a tug. Really unfortunate there.
While Vortex is into phase 3, almost took a fire bat to the face and took a fall himself. Vortex on into phase 4.
And Leo popping that blue potion. Into phase 3. And the Firebats just are not playing for Leo at all right now. But there we go. Vortex is going to finish third, taking this game for Team Go, it looks like. Get your GGs in chat. And there we go. Vortex finishing third with a 125-27, and that seals it for Team Go. 3 points, and that is going to pretty much set the seeding. Looks like that means JKLOL probably going to be ending up with a date with OK Dudes in the first round of the playoffs. And we are joined by McMonkey and Vortex right as Leo's about to put in her final silver arrow into Ganon. Hey guys, GG.
Hey there. Thanks.
Yo, GG's.
So Leo about to cross the bridge. We'll get her time momentarily. I do see... Hey, we are joined by Kaysden as well. As Leo is finishing up with a 126-16. GG to everybody today. So yeah, initial thoughts, guys.
That was way more fun than yesterday, even if we still almost less located.
A better, in some ways a better seed, in some ways a worse seed.
I was gonna say I felt bad for all the fairies that got just mistreated today.
Yeah, I used my share for sure.
It seemed not to be
I don't think I caught
too
a single
bad
fairy.
for Randomizer.
I powdered
I
a few. I powdered
caught
good several, but I didn't catch any.
probably 5 or 6 total. Was yeah, there were still some stupid Randomizer things, and but it wasn't all just dumb. I was so angry though that Pendant Helma was the answer again. Like I wasn't even doing I was just doing it.
Trying to think like metagame wise, what are you guys gonna do? Just especially since it just came up and it's like now it's not even green pendant. But when we were in there, same thing. Like it made sense for Leo continued. She found the fire rod, or I think it was fire rod or whatever was on there, and then I just followed, and we got the things.
We were in a really awkward spot when I was in pod. We were down to like catfish, purple chest, front of skull,
and then the book checks.
Well, but when I got to pod, so I found the book, and McMonkey was like just out of stuff to do, and I was like, we remembered he had Eastern, so he did Eastern, and then I was like, just go toward the portal. Like we haven't found much, and then he got into the portal, and I had the book. I was like, you should at least get this, and then he got it and left, and then I killed Helma, and yeah, that felt pretty bad. But that was like the worst thing that we did, I think, overall. Led to a couple of the other bad things, but
yeah, I know Monkey, unfortunate on the exit of pod there. that save and quit right as Vortex was getting that fire rod.
Yeah, just a few seconds. That was, I mean, usually we're pretty detailed about communicating, where are you at? Should I go? Wait a few seconds. It just was, I was focused on get the book, go up to Hera and Ether Tablet. And
I think if I had, I hadn't said anything about where I was in pod. If I had said anything that indicated I was close to finishing, maybe you just wait, but that's definitely a communication error on my part. But yeah, and then the Ice Palace, I was the switch. I don't think I've ever done that before. Hit the switch, lock myself out. So had to go through again. Just everything after go mode, I just felt terrible.
Yeah, I put that directly on you saying that you felt like you were playing good before we hit go mode.
Yep,
you never say those words.
I think I said it just before you got the mirror off Viddy, actually. Literally, you were going.
Yeah, that checks out.
But yeah, good finish to the season.
Yeah, as you said, this is the last race for Team Go this season. Unfortunate, gonna just miss out on the playoffs, but a good season nonetheless. 6-8, and a Invitational, never an easy kind of story.
Yeah, this was sort of our goal, was to be far from relegation and then be done after 7 weeks. So we jokingly talked about that. We were trying for playoffs, but the way league ends up working out by the end of 7 weeks, kind of ready to move on to other things. I'll enjoy watching the playoffs. I won't enjoy the stress I won't miss the stress of playing in the playoffs. So happy to root on the other teams for now.
Yep, that's how I feel too. So
fair enough. And of course, Kaysden, we've talked about this. We've got playoffs to start looking forward to now.
Yeah, we got some tough games coming.
Yeah. Looks like, based on the conversation we had, it looks like JKLOL will be playing with OK Dudes.
Unless there's some crazy other tiebreaker situation that we missed. That's, I believe, the case.
Right.
Which you played them in week 2, correct?
Yes.
Oops.
Yeah, we I could say the JKLOL OK Dudes met in Ambrosia in week 2. So definitely we'll be looking for improved results.
Yeah, no, we're looking to get a win off of them for sure, at least.
Yeah. So we do see
it's going to be a tough game. Tough series.
We're starting to see the CRs here, 118 and 119 for Monkey and Vortex. Kaysden with a 124, and we'll see what Leo's ended up as. We did see Vortex get those couple of hearts out of Swamp Palace, the diver down room that Monkey skipped.
I was gonna skip them, but I got kind of owned by the fire snake, and I was like, maybe these will be a refill. And it was kind of nice. So
yeah, I got a lot more learning to do to work up to Vortex and Gamma's level of fluffing.
The fluff game is very important. It is the hardest thing to get.
Yeah, the hardest part of Rando is fluffing. So
did either of you go straight into Eastern right off the start?
I went very early.
I started at Link's house. I took my bow. I went to Saha. I was like, I'm just going into the dungeon.
In more than half of our practice seeds, we had a pendant Eastern that I went into right away and lost 2 years in. I said I learned my lesson and I went to CAC from the south.
Yeah. it's not like we were skipping CAC or anything. I just figured, look, I'm here.
Yeah.
I have a weapon to do stuff.
Yeah, we still ended up...
It's kind of Monka because you're going in without a lamp, and it was kind of a blessing that it was Argus, and I was able to find out, so I was like, at least I don't have to go in there. But, yeah, it was a bit rough.
Yeah, I started, so I did have the lamp, but
okay.
I still put it off, and both of us ended up going all the way to get that sword.
Yeah, I think if you
looking
do it a
very
bit
likely
later,
to be Aga.
makes more sense. But
yeah,
doing it as early as I did, it's like we have all of everything left. Like we'll either find another sword, maybe from the hook shot, and just be able to beat it or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kaizen, you know, the one thing we noticed was a switching of the mountain. Where you and Leo seemed to be on opposite paths, where she was in Hera and it looked like you were going to do desert, and then found yourselves actually swapping places with you going to TR and her to desert. Any particular, you know, thought behind that one, or just of the moment kind of thought?
Just we were just going through things on the moment. I don't remember if I didn't have book. I think we sent Leo there because she would be able to do the 5-6 afterwards, was the thought. And okay. I didn't want to go up to Hera because it was go mode and I can do it later. Since she already had it, we just decided we'll just swap spots here. It didn't seem like it was that big a deal, so.
Fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't sure because we thought maybe that would have been the plan, and then there was this just complete swap at that moment, so.
Yeah, no, we were just kind of winging stuff, playing the ear at that point.
Yeah, speaking of playing by ear, I said a little in the chat, but McMonkey almost talked me into doing. I was like considering doing Purple Chest into Desert right after Skull instead of going to TR. And if he had Fire Rod, I probably would have, because I knew he was going up to Hera. He tried to talk me into it anyway, and I overruled him, so that could have cost us. But
yeah, it would have cost some seconds at least, if nothing else.
And that's the thing, you know, Rando, always a game of inches in a sense, where those little timing moments kind of add up and lead to what turned out to be a great race today.
Yeah, always fun. I'm probably gonna take off here though. So thanks for comms, guys. Thanks for restream and tracking and all that. It was a lot of fun. So
yeah,
good luck in playoffs.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's gonna be scary.
Just go to the items. It'll be fun.
I'm just happy. I just have one mode to grind, and that's it. So I'm good with that.
No, I'm really?
Well,
only one?
No. Well, you know, as long as we 3-0, then I only have one.
Oh, okay.
That's the spirit.
Easy game, right? Easy game.
Easy game.
Kaizen, didn't you know you're still game 4?
You know, I feel like we've had this conversation, and yeah, probably. We'll figure that out when the time comes.
Exactly. But yeah, make sure to give a follow to our runners, Leori of Light, Kazden, Vortex of Doom, and McMonkey. Their links are in the chat. Big shout outs as well to Slowpoke and Avalon for doing the tracking. Much appreciated. Obviously, my DM and I are, you know, we're kind of clowns at times, and sometimes we just miss stuff. And having two very helpful trackers makes our lives at least possible to get through. In terms of what's going on, in just under an hour and a half, we've got the last race of the regular season in the Invitational League. Bottles on Empty and 2 Pearl 2 Furious, Maniacal and Ingembro versus Scary Olive and Trinex. They're going to be playing over on SpeedGaming 2. That is going to close out the regular season here in the Invitational League. I don't know if there's any open league races left at this point. I think we might be getting a potential for a race off in open league for some tiebreaker shenanigans. But it does look like there are still a few other games left to go in the Open League. But starting tomorrow, that does mean we enter the playoffs. I believe the Invitational League will be getting a week off. So much appreciated and much deserved for all of our Invitational runners, but Open League will probably be entering a first week of playoffs starting tomorrow. But with that, Mayan DM, it has been a pleasure to work with you as always.
Yeah, fun as usual, and a really great race to call. I enjoyed it quite thoroughly.
Yeah. But thanks again, everybody, and hopefully you have a great evening. Once again, SpeedGaming 2 in about an hour and a half. If you still want more, Link to the Past Randomizer. If not, make sure to follow all the SpeedGaming channels for plenty of other content. With that, have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you all at the next race. Bye.